I always loved the peacefulness of my neighborhood. It was a place where everyone knew each other, and nothing out of the ordinary ever happened. But lately, I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching me, following my every move. At first, I dismissed it as mere paranoia, but the strange occurrences became too frequent to ignore. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting shadows over the street, I walked home from work. I couldn't shake the uneasy sensation that crawled up my spine, causing me to quicken my pace. I noticed that with every step I took, there seemed to be an echo of footsteps behind me. But each time I glanced back, there was no one in sight. My heart pounded in my chest and I took a turn down an unfamiliar alleyway, hoping to lose my pursuer. The dimly lit path only amplified my fear. My breath came out in shallow gasps as I struggled to maintain my composure. I finally reached the main road and hailed a taxi to take me home. For a few days I convinced myself that it was all in my head, but the feeling of being watched persisted. I changed my routines, looking over my shoulder at every corner, trying to catch a glimpse of the one haunting me. I questioned my neighbors, but they all seemed to find my fears baseless. Still, I knew better. One evening, as I was preparing dinner in my kitchen, I heard a faint tapping at the window. My heart skipped a beat as I turned to see a shadowy figure standing outside, shrouded in darkness. I couldn't make out their face, but I felt their menacing stare pierce through the glass. Terrified, I rushed to lock all the doors and windows, but the figure remained outside, always lurking in the shadows. Every time I thought I had shaken them off, they reappeared, haunting my every move. I began to question my sanity as the paranoia consumed me. Unable to sleep, I decided to set up cameras around my house, hoping to catch a glimpse of my stalker. The footage only confirmed my worst fears. In the dead of night, the figure, draped in a long coat and a wide-brimmed hat, silently watched my home from a distance. I couldn't rely on the police. They dismissed my fears as figments of an overactive imagination. My friends suggested moving away, but I couldn't bear the thought of letting my stalker win. Instead, I began to research self-defense techniques and installed a security system to protect myself. One night, unable to bear the constant fear any longer, I devised a plan to confront my tormentor. I made it appear as though I had left my house, leaving a dim light on to deceive them. I waited in the shadows, my heart pounding loudly in my ears. Hours passed, and just as I began to doubt if they would show up, I heard the creaking of the gate. The figure emerged from the darkness, inching closer to my home. My breath hitched as I observed their every move through the surveillance cameras. When they finally reached my door, I sprang into action. My heart raced and adrenaline surged through my veins as I confronted the stalker outside my home. "Who are you? Why are you doing this?" I demanded, my voice trembling with both fear and anger. But the figure remained silent, their face still obscured by the shadows. I took a step forward, and they retreated, slipping back into the darkness they emerged from. Determined not to let them escape, I followed, hoping to unmask the face of my tormentor. As I ventured further into the darkness, my surroundings became unfamiliar, and the silence became deafening. Panic threatened to engulf me, but I pushed forward, determined to end this nightmare once and for all. Suddenly, a bright light illuminated the area, revealing a dilapidated old building in front of me. The stalker's figure stood just beyond the threshold, and I could finally see their face, a face that was eerily familiar. It was a face I knew all too well, my own. My heart stopped as I stared at the mirror that had been strategically placed to reflect my own image back at me. I was the stalker all along, unknowingly tormenting myself with my own fears and paranoia. The realization hit me like a tidal wave and I fell to my knees, tears streaming down my face. I had become my own worst enemy, trapped in a nightmare of my making. The fear and anxiety that consumed me were a manifestation of my own insecurities. In that moment, I vowed to face my fears head-on, to conquer the darkness within myself. I had to learn to let go of the past and embrace the present, to free myself from the chains of paranoia that had bound me for so long. As I walked away from the haunting building, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. I had escaped the clutches of my own mind and found solace in the truth. From that day forward, I vowed to live without fear, to face every challenge with courage, and to never let the darkness consume me again. The wind howled through the old, decrepit mansion, sending shivers down my spine as I cautiously stepped inside. I had inherited this eerie place from a distant relative, and the rumors surrounding it were enough to make anyone uneasy. But I never believed in ghosts or the supernatural, until now. The moment I crossed the threshold, an overwhelming sense of foreboding washed over me. Every creak and groan of the old floorboards seemed to echo through the empty halls, and the flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows that danced on the walls. I tried to shake off the unease, reminding myself that I was alone in the mansion. However, that notion was short-lived when I heard a faint whisper in the distance. "Get out," it seemed to say. I froze, my heart pounding, unable to pinpoint the source of the voice. Ignoring my fear, I continued exploring the mansion, trying to uncover its secrets. As I ascended the grand staircase, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. Each step felt heavier than the last, as if an unseen force tried to pull me down. "Leave this place," the voice urged, echoing through the halls. But I pressed on, determined to unravel the mysteries within these haunted walls. The mansion's walls were adorned with portraits of long-gone family members, their eyes seemingly following me as I passed. A sense of dread weighed heavily on me, as if the spirits of the past were warning me to leave. I entered a dimly lit room, and to my surprise, a dusty Ouija board lay forgotten on a table. Despite my skepticism, I couldn't resist trying it out. Placing my trembling fingers on the planchette, I asked if there was anyone there. To my astonishment, the planchette moved, spelling out a chilling message: "Get out now." Fear seized my heart, but curiosity pushed me to inquire further. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice trembling. The planchette glided again, spelling out "murdered." The revelation sent shivers down my spine, and my mind raced with questions. Was the ghost trying to tell me about a past tragedy within these walls? The room suddenly grew colder, and a haunting melody filled the air. It was a somber tune, played on a long-forgotten piano. The keys moved on their own, and I watched in terror as the ghostly fingers played an eerie melody, the music echoing through the mansion. I fled the room, my heart pounding, but the haunting tune followed me, becoming louder and more persistent with every step I took. It was as if the ghost itself had latched onto me, refusing to let go. In a desperate attempt to escape, I ran towards the mansion's front door. But as I reached for the handle, it wouldn't budge. Panic set in and I tried again and again, but the door remained firmly shut. "Let me out," I screamed, but the only response was the chilling laughter that echoed through the halls. I was trapped, a prisoner within my own inheritance. As the night wore on, the mansion's malevolent presence seemed to grow stronger. Shadows danced on the walls, forming ghastly shapes that taunted me. The whispers became louder, filling my mind with fear and doubt. I searched for a way out, desperate to escape the clutches of this vengeful spirit, but every room led me deeper into the heart of darkness, and the ghost's grip on me tightened with each passing moment. In my frantic search for an exit, I stumbled upon a hidden chamber concealed behind a bookshelf. The room was filled with dusty books, and in the center stood an ornate mirror with an eerie, ethereal glow. Without thinking, I peered into the mirror, and my own reflection stared back at me. But as I looked deeper into my own eyes, I saw something else, an unsettling darkness that wasn't my own. The ghostly figure behind me in the mirror sent a cold shiver down my spine. "Get out!" the ghostly figure hissed, its eyes burning with malevolence. I stumbled back in horror, realizing that I was not alone in the reflection. Suddenly, the room filled with a blinding light, and the ghostly figure lunged at me from the mirror. I screamed as its icy fingers wrapped around my throat, choking the life out of me. In that moment of terror, I understood the truth. I wasn't escaping from a ghost. I was becoming one. The mansion had consumed me, trapping my soul within its haunted walls. As the last breath left my body, I joined the legion of spirits bound to the mansion, whispering warnings to those who dared to enter. My screams echoed through the halls, forever trapped within the terrifying legacy of the mansion's past. And so, the mansion remained, a place of dark secrets and vengeful spirits, luring unsuspecting souls into its cursed embrace. And as the whispers continued, The legend of the haunted mansion lived on, warning all who dared to come near. But amidst the shadows and the chilling cries, one question remains unanswered. Will anyone ever find the key to break the mansion's sinister spell and release the souls trapped within its walls? Or will the malevolent spirits claim their next victim, drawing them deeper into the dark abyss of the haunted mansion?